Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Caught Lookin. As always, I am your host, Meg, and tonight joining me are Nicole, Sarah, and Ash. How are you, ladies, tonight?
Hello.
Doing
Great.
good.
Hello. So, not too much Guards news. Basically, we had Jose's press conference, so it is officially official. Jose is here for another 7 years,
I love
and
him.
I love him too.
I don't
I
think I've
think,
ever seen anyone more proud to be where they are than that man.
yes, fully agree. We also got a rare showing from Mr. Paul Dolan himself during
Yeah,
the
the
press
last time he
conference.
publicly spoke was Koze's last extension.
That man only comes out like
There's
when.
a theme. There's a theme here. I respect it.
So yeah, it was a lot was said, but also I feel like, Antonetti was doing kind of his normal like say a lot without saying much. The front office and ownership are notoriously closed lips no matter what you ask them. And Antonetti, as much as I love him and as much as I do believe he really does the best that he can with what he has, he is very, very good at that kind of circular.
He mastered padding out his essays in high school and
Yes,
college.
What definitely.
he met word count. He knew how to meet word count.
And it's frustrating as it is sometimes. It's like such a blessing to have that. So it's like only what needs to get out gets out.
Yes, I agree. We posted a couple of the videos on our Twitter. So he made several remarks regarding offensive production that he realizes we weren't good enough offensively last year, but wants to continue prioritizing young players. And they did have some people that they targeted and tried to enter into negotiations with during this offseason free agency. But he did specifically mention that they chose to sign elsewhere because we could not guarantee them the playing time that they wanted, which I feel like does make sense because we have all the young players. They want to play the young players, and if you sign a big name from free agency, that's going to cause that stonewall effect again, where these Valera and Kafis and CDL aren't going to get the playing time that they need in order to become the players that we hope that they can become.
I want to believe that that's true, and most of me does, but I don't know. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I really don't, but I just feel like that whole comment was kind of like odd to me. I feel like what he said, he was very intentional in the way he said it, almost like he had to make a point that the reason they weren't signing here is because of playing time, not because we weren't able to pay them, because he said straight up it wasn't an issue with financials. And so I was like, that seems a little like, I don't know, a very specific reason. He could have just said, we targeted some players that it didn't pan out and then just kind of go on. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a story there. There probably isn't, but that was at least something that struck me as just like a little odd. I mean, I'm glad to hear that they actually attempted to sign some guys. It's a shame that it didn't work out for whatever reason, but I mean, that's at least somewhat reassuring that at least we have some sort of confirmation that they tried and it just didn't work out.
I think if it wasn't George Valera, Chase DeLauder, Juan Brito, that were kind of the people who would be held up by signing a free agent, I don't think they would have mentioned that. But when you have someone like Chase DeLauder who's quote unquote delayed in his development for as a player because he hasn't played more than what like something ridiculous like he hasn't played more than like 60 games a season. I think it's like even less than that when it comes to his professional career. But when you have someone who's so delayed and is ready to be in the big leagues, but just hasn't gotten there because of injury, you don't want to delay that further by putting someone else in front of them, taking away their playtime.
Hmm.
And the same with Valera, same with Brito, same with Espino if we ever see him pitch in the bigs. Like there's so many players that have just been injury prone that that has cut into their development.
Mhm.
I
Not
do
making
think that
excuses
I
though.
do hope that that's a good sign that at least we'll expect to see CDL and Valera on the opening day roster. Like honestly, I'll be very, very surprised if they don't. And so I think, after him saying all that, I think that's a good indicator that they'll be on that roster. And so that's exciting at least.
It also kind of gives a hint of like they're confident in those guys coming up and playing. So it's like we're ready for them. They're ready to be here. Let's not stunt this any further. Let's just do it.
Yeah, they're very, very confident. Maybe too
Yeah.
confident, but
I think it is a major testament to the kind of player Chase DeLauder is, because like you hear the phrase "wake up and swing." Like he is 100%. There's not too much he needs to tweak when it comes to hitting. He's a monster. He's as like skinny as he is for a base, like for someone who hits home runs. Like he has decent power. Like so, yeah. I think it really is just them believing in Chase DeLauder and believing in Valera and believing possibly in Brito. I hope one can only hope that we can develop a prospect to become a superstar that isn't named Jose Ramirez.
Travis Bazzana.
and yeah, I was
He's
gonna
right
say
there.
there's
Exactly.
Bazzana too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here he is.
I mean, I will say, I know we've talked about this before, but the end of the season gave me a lot of hope because they were much more aggressive with getting those young guys up and getting them playing time. In earlier seasons, in like definitely in 23 and 24, we would have never, I mean, they brought Bo up in, what was it? Was it 22?
He
They
was
brought
22.
Bo up
Yeah.
in for the playoffs, but I don't think he got a single inning on the field. I don't think he saw any playing time while he was up. I think he was just there to kind of hang out, to get some, to, be with Hedgie and get some information from him and learn how all of this
Yeah, I
works.
feel like he was almost an emergency call up, learn the game, see what we can do for next year
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Whereas CDL was brought up and was in the game, did, and played. Not a ton, but he did get, major, he got hits. He got at bats. He was in center
He
field.
contributed.
Yes, exactly. And even before that, Valera had several big moments. Messick obviously was completely a dominating force. So that gives me hope that they were actually seriously playing these guys at the end of the season last year. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. And, again, as we mentioned in a previous episode, this is now possibly the earliest extension that the Guardians have ever done to begin a season. So there is still a possibility that other extensions can happen up and
Stephen Kwan.
until the opening,
Stephen
the
Kwan.
home opener.
Yeah.
Extensions have happened up until the home opener.
Mhm.
So we
They
still
have
have
been known to wait.
exactly. We still have
Yes,
a
they have.
ton of time to figure some stuff out. But yeah, aside from that, Jose was also making some comments. I have the same sense of pride from Cleveland that they have in the Dominican Republic. I'm 50% Dominican, 50% Clevelander. My kids were born here, and I take pride in the city and what it represents to me, which he said a couple times over the past couple months, how much he loves Cleveland, how much he appreciates it, how much he loves the fact that his family, his kids were born here, and they have grown up as Clevelanders, basically. And he also called out that, Jose signing a contract that's much smaller than what he could command around the league. Whoever earns those contracts, congratulate to them, kudos. But for me, it's just what I can control and what matters to me. And for me, it's my desire. It's my desire to be here, obviously being in Cleveland. So just more reason to love the man, in all honesty.
I'm not gonna settle for a statue over in like Heritage Park. They need to build a skyscraper for this man. Like
Yes.
if the Cleveland skyline does not include a gigantic statue of Jose Ramirez in the next decade, I'm going to riot.
Just rename the whole city actually after him.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's his.
Jose
He can
Land.
have it
Ramirez
all.
Guardians.
Jose Ramirez. Land.
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez land. Put his
Ramirez
name
Land.
next to the Cleveland sign by the lake.
Or rename Progressive Field to just Jose Ramirez Field.
Perfect. Perfect. We'll do that.
Either of those would work. But yes, we have Jose. He has us forever and ever.
Oh my God,
And-
when he posted his new profile photo that said Cleveland forever, I actually I cried, you guys, because I was like,
oh.
wait, he really means forever. Like that really got me for
It's
some
so
reason. I was
it's
like,
so emotional, and that's what's crazy with especially with me being like a dual team follower. I don't feel any connections like when guys leave the Mets because I was like, I have Jose Ramirez. Like, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. Like this man, he has literally raised the bar so high for me and expectations of like homegrown athletes. It's just no one will touch the level that he has.
Listen, all I'm saying is this means that we could see Lindor and Jose retire together in Cleveland.
Dude, I hope
it's
so.
a non-zero possibility.
That's my dream. I don't ever want to see the day where they're both not playing, but I will be there when their names go into the Hall of Fame. You can bet on it.
It's got to be either one of your teams, though. So for you, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. There's no losing here.
You're like, I get Lindor no matter what.
The only reason I
Yeah.
like the Mets at all is because of him. I literally followed him there. So if he goes, I don't know, but that's
Who
been my
knows?
guy. That's been my guy forever.
Another good one to have. But yeah, hopefully we'll see over the next, couple of years. I don't know what Lindor's contract is looking like, but
I'd have to look it up. I'm not
yeah.
100% sure off the top of my head.
But I don't think there is anyone, well, there are probably some people that would say no to that, but I think a lot of people would be okay with that.
Lindor is in the middle of a 10-year, $341 million contract extension, which runs through the 2031 season.
So
Oh,
I was
wow.
just
Yeah.
I was just about to read that off.
And Jose's goes to 2032, so his last year could literally be in Cleveland.
There you
Oh,
go.
the
Oh,
stars are
Stop
aligning.
it.
Dare
Or
I
even
say?
the thought in my head. Literally, that is I mourn Lindor in Cleveland. Like it's crazy to me. It's like mourning the loss of a loved one, except I still have him, but not in the way I want him.
No, like last year I was sitting there trying to add up. I'm like, is there a chance that this could happen? I was like, oh no, like Jose's contract's over before that. Like there's a good chance he's gone. Like especially when all those interviews from early last year were coming out. I was like, man, there's a good chance like Jose's gone, so this won't line up. And then when he extended and it was to 2032, I was like, this is happening. This is happening.
Jose did the
Lindor is
math
gonna
too,
retire.
and he's like, you know what?
He's
He's
gonna
planting the
put in
seed.
a special word. He knows what he's doing. He's
We'll have
working
to
the long
watch.
game.
We'll have to watch the Guardians Mets game and see if there's some. I mean, there's gonna be chatter because no matter what, Jose is always a menace to the other team, especially when there are former Guardians on the team.
Oh, he loves Lindor. It's the
Yes.
funniest thing. But I just wonder if he'll like try to, bug in the ear type
Oh
thing.
yeah, I'm sure
all of
he will.
Lindor's comments about missing Cleveland,
Every
and missing
time.
playing in Progressive,
There's that
and how the
specific
fans
video.
love him.
There's a specific video. I don't remember where he's at, but he's a Met. And a kid asks him while he's signing the kid's jersey, he's
Oh,
like, if
yeah.
there's any other team you could play for, who would it be? Doesn't miss a beat. It's Cleveland. And I was like, just come home. Just like, please come home. It's crazy.
Your children miss you, and it's Brian
It's-
Rocchio
it's-
and Angel Martinez.
Oh my God! Now I'm thinking about Lindor with Rocchio. Oh,
Right?
that would be
Ugh.
so cute.
That they'd literally be besties, I think. I
They'd
think
be
it would be the
adorable
scariest
together.
duo. I'd love
Oh
them.
yeah, and they would harass Jose so much. It
Well,
would be
Rocchio
beautiful.
already does.
Oh, yeah.
So now
Just-
it's like going to be tripled.
Like literally, like Rocchio has horrible little brother energy, and Lindor will like adopt middle brother energy.
Oh no.
He'll be like, go do this, go do this.
Yeah, such
Go
an
do this and get in trouble
instigator.
for it.
Oh, I
I
need
can
this
see
now
it
in my
now.
life. I need this now. Okay. Well, we're all extremely excited, obviously, for Jose to be here, and what the future may hold for those 7 years. Other news, the official 2026 non-roster invites and internal spring training invites has gone out. So Guards Insider released the internal non-roster invites, but we do also have I believe this is the full list. Yes, this is the confirmed, I believe, full list of non-roster invites. Were you guys surprised by anybody on here? I mean, we know that, Avila was kind of a surprise when he popped up, and we're all very excited to see him back. So hopefully he'll find a way to fit into the team. I'm going to admit, totally forgot Trevor Stephan was still on our team.
I did too.
100% completely forgot.
Yeah, I think we all did. I was
Did-
more surprised. I don't know if there's a reason for this, Nicole, if you know, but Cal Steven is not on the non-roster invitees, which I thought was a little odd because I had remembered him. And so I was surprised to not see him on there. So is there like a reason or?
I'm not sure, but I saw that sentiment
Mhm.
being passed around by like Quincy and a few other people that like he was the name that was a little odd. It was left off. So yeah, I'm not sure if they're just trying to give him a bit more development or not. Like I'm not that was the only name I was surprised wasn't on there, and I'm not really surprised the names that are on there, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, you can definitely like look through and say, okay, these are the first batch of people that are going to be probably sent down after the first few games. Like you can see where they're going to trim it. But I'm excited. Maybe it's because like he might be on the roster invite, so like they might be toying with rostering him for Cal.
Oh, Cal.
Interesting.
That could be interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see what the official 40 man looks like whenever that gets fully finalized. I'm not sure exactly when
Because I was gonna
we'll
say I'm
be seeing that
surprised
pop up.
that Khalil Watson, but I was like, wait, no, Khalil I think is on the 40 man because I think he was protected
That sounds correct.
in the Rule 5. I might be speaking out my ass though.
There's a chance.
But no, I'm excited. Like Afonso Rosario, I like him. He's one of my ones I keep an eye on when I'm doing the minor league recaps. Same with Wilfredo 2 days, and then Diane Frias I like too. And of course Ralphie. Ralphie's a joy.
Ralphie.
He is such a personality. I need him to succeed just so he can do on-field interviews.
That's yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't see Cal currently on the 40 man.
Yeah, so
And also, I don't know if the 40 man is full right now. I feel like I did hear that it was, but I can't remember.
I was excited to see Alphonse and Rosario because I had watched him in Lake County, and he got promoted to Double A at some point last year, right? I don't know how much time he spent with them, but yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see him.
You get to see him in person.
Haha.
I do. I'm so excited. Three
It's so
weeks,
fun.
literally counting down the days.
Oh, I'm
3
sure.
weeks.
Live
It's just
streaming on
crazy.
the Instagram account. No.
You could do updates. Updates on the
Oh,
Instagram would be
I
fun.
absolutely will. I have to decide how exactly I'll get content for sure. Like don't worry, y'all. I'll get something, but I
She's like,
just
trust me, I
I
got
haven't
this.
decided yet.
Should we crowdfund a GoPro?
We could.
If we all put in, it wouldn't be that expensive, actually.
No. Yeah, so guys, make sure you're following especially our Instagram account, but all of our socials because we will have an on the ground correspondent for a couple games of spring training this year. Which do you know which games specifically you're going to?
I'm gonna be there that Friday and Saturday. I believe they play the White Sox on Saturday, and I want to say the Mariners. It's either the Mariners or the Cubs, but I'm pretty sure it's the Mariners. The White Sox and Mariners, I think the two games that they play that weekend. So I don't know 100% if we're going to one game or both. There's still some stuff we have to work out, but probably the White Sox game for sure since that's the Saturday one. But yeah, I'm super excited. And I'm hoping to meet some of the guys too. We have an insider who lives down there who he goes to spring training games all the time, so he's gonna kind of give us the lowdown. So I'm excited.
Nice.
That'd be so
And to
fun.
just escape this weather too. That's honestly
Oh my
like it's
God.
That's
just
the
being
big
there for
part.
baseball and
Yep.
just being somewhere where it's above 30 degrees. That is what I'm excited for.
Dude, when I went down there though last year when we went to like one night game and when the sun went down, I'm like, "Oh my God, I am cold." Like
It's
my
crazy. I've never been, but I've heard the temperature differences out there is insane.
my friend who lives down there, I went to visit her and she's like, "You picked the one week where we're actually like down into the 50s." She's like, "Last weekend it was in the 80s." I'm like, of
In the
course.
50s? Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, obviously that would still feel good to me. Like I would
Oh
not
yeah. Like I
complain.
wasn't
But
wearing a
like that
coat or
is a
anything.
little that's a little
She
yeah. I
was
would prefer it to
dying,
be
but
slightly warmer. That's
but yeah, I'm
unfortunate
like,
though.
"Wait,
Oh my God.
it rained?" I'm like, "What the hell is going on? I did not come here for this."
You brought that Midwest weather out there with
I
you.
really did. This was East Coast. Like I'm not in the West Coast anymore. Oh, but yes, we will, like I said, be sure to follow all our socials because Sarah will be having some content, I'm sure, videos, pictures, whatnot, of all the exciting things that she has seen at spring training. And like I said, I've been there last year. It's a really cool experience. The park is very intimate, it's very small, and you get to see, the guys that unless you are, a big minor league person and go check out, Akron and Lake County and stuff, you see the kids come out and play, which is fun. And it is also really funny to see a bajillion people in the dugout. Because they all show up and that dugout is crammed.
It's so crazy because what's the rules? They have to be in the dugout for the first inning or something like that. Like it's
Something
just
like that,
it's
yeah.
just
As soon as they get taken out of the game, they can leave too. So when you see like there's normally, I think like in the third inning, there's a mass exodus of all of the veterans. They're like, we're done for the day. Normally the vets don't stay past like the third or fourth inning unless they're a pitcher. But yeah, those position players are like, I'm out. See ya. Have fun, kids. So we're actually going to do something a little bit different and switch from specifically guards in baseball because this week on February 4th is going to be National Girls and Women in Sports Day. So we wanted to take some time, this being a all women podcast, to highlight some women in sports who we feel like should have the light shined on them a little bit. First up, I'm going to throw over to Nicole because she's going to chat just a little bit about some upcoming information about the AUSL and the WPBL.
Yeah. So the AUSL is the I should always look it up, is the Athletic Unlimited Softball League. Not intuitive of a acronym, but they started their inaugural season was last year. They were actually MLB actually invested in this league,
Mm.
and they streamed their games on MLB Network and MLB.com as well as ESPN. They kind of did that little like hub and only played in a handful of cities throughout the inaugural season, and then they just announced a couple weeks ago that they have their full teams for the 26th season, and it's the Chicago Bandits, the Carolina Blaze, who will be playing in Duke University at their field and stadium, Portland Cascade, Oklahoma City Spark, the Utah Talons, who are playing in Salt Lake, and then the Texas Volts, who are playing in Round Rock. And Round Rock, just a little shout out, they're a nice little baseball hub. The Round Rock Express, which is the Rangers, or it's one of the Texas teams, AAA. It's real nice. The stadium's like right next to Kalahari down there. But yeah, so that'll be the teams that are playing. They're actually doing travel next year, which is big because usually smaller leagues like this avoid travel. So yeah, that'll be fun. If there's a team near you, check them out. And then the Women's Professional Baseball League announced earlier this year that, or earlier, late last year, that they will all be playing in Springfield, Illinois at Robin Roberts Stadium. And the season will run from August 1st to mid-September. And it'll be 30 regular season games and then playoffs. So if you live near Springfield, go check them out. This may be our only chance at baseball, American baseball, professional baseball, if we lock out next year. So please support them. The Women's Professional Baseball League is crap. I forgot all the teams.
There's like 4 of them, right?
Yeah, I think it's New York, Chicago,
Boston, and
San
Los Angeles.
Francisco, and LA. So
Yeah.
maybe it's Boston instead
Yeah,
of Chicago.
Boston.
Yeah. But yeah, support them because that, like, I realized, so the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League, which has been running since 2024, you had the AUSL start last year in 25, and then you have the WPBL coming this year in 26. So over the last 3 years, we've had 3 professional women's leagues start up, and all of them are showing more momentum and success. So I really am hoping that all of them stay successful and have lots of fans to support them because the PWHL is so much fun.
So much fun.
They stream on YouTube, so there's no excuse to not watch the games. But yeah, so that's my little update on some of the women's softball and baseball world.
Awesome. Yes, we will definitely have to be checking them out. And yeah, absolutely support both of them, and especially the WPPL in their inaugural season this year, so that hopefully they get a little bit bigger in 27 and we
And
can
can
watch
actually
them.
move to their stadium, their cities.
Yes.
That kind of seems to be like the smaller leagues, like PWHL. They did play at their different stadiums, but like that is definitely seems like how that they're doing is they're playing in like 1 or 2 or like a handful of stadiums and then moving to full travel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that makes sense. I didn't even think about something like that. That was something that I'm like, why are they doing LA and Boston? That is such a massive amount of travel that they would have to do, especially for only 4 teams, but them being centrally based in one place and representing those cities. That makes sense.
Who knows? Maybe Cleveland can finally get an expansion team in one of these leagues. Dan Gilbert, hear
I
us out.
think Cleveland is actually being talked about in the PWHL as a potential expansion. I have
Really?
heard Cleveland in the talks. There's no like confirmation or anything, obviously, but there's rumors that they're going to expand to Cleveland.
Oh,
That
that's so
doesn't
cool.
surprise me with how well supported the
The basketball.
U.S. team. No, the U.S. team
Oh.
played here,
Hmm.
and they packed out Rocket Arena pretty well.
Well, that is a great segue into my feature player.
Yeah.
So we're going to move into talking about our women in sports. And I wanted to highlight specifically Layla Edwards, who is going to be the first Black woman selected to represent the United States in women's ice hockey at this upcoming Olympics. So I'm not a big hockey fan. I will be the first one to tell you the last time I watched a hockey game was in college because that was the only D1 sport we had. So, but I specifically wanted to highlight Layla, not only because she's the first Black woman to represent the U.S. in ice hockey, but also because she's a Cleveland native. She's from Cleveland Heights. The U.S. women are going to face Czechia to open the Olympic Winter Games, Milano Cortino, on Thursday at 4:40 p.m. on Peacock. Layla is 22 years old and she currently attends the University of Wisconsin. So, like I said, she grew up in Cleveland Heights and she has four siblings, I believe. The interesting thing is she actually started off as a figure skater at age of 5. And I watched a video with her and she's like, I hated it. I hated everything about it. She's like, I hated the tutus. I hated the dancing. I absolutely hated it. But she's like, I knew that I needed that base before I moved into hockey. And she quickly moved into hockey. And she also mentioned in Cleveland specifically, she was always the only girl on the boys' teams because there were no girl teams. But starting in 8th grade, she actually moved to New York to attend a school out there that had a women's hockey team. So she spent several years there. And then her older sister, who was 3 years older than her, was going to Wisconsin and told her that this is the place to be. This is, you're going to love it out here. You got to come out here. So she started attending the University of Wisconsin. And some of the accolades she has received over the year. She was the first Black woman to play for the U.S. women's senior national team in 2023, the first Black woman to score for Team USA at the IIHF World Women's Championship in 2024, the youngest player ever to be named tournament MVP at the IIHF World Women's Championship at age 20 in 2024. She also won the Bob Allen Women's Player of the Year Award in 2024. And she was a top 3 finalist in 2025 for a award called the Patty Kazmaier Award and led the nation with 35 goals during her junior year.
Wow.
So she is very much a massively impressive player. Even again, for someone who does not know hockey that well, her accolades are a very long list at this point. One cool thing I did see recently, she had a GoFundMe up to help get her and her family over to Italy so that they could, obviously experience this historic moment for her. So she put up a GoFundMe and it was going pretty well. But right before, about 2 weeks ago or something like that, the Kelsey brothers found it. And they contributed $10,000 to the fund, which put her over her goal. And Travis also personally reached out to provide her advice that, Cleveland Heights connection was right there. And the guys are always super excited to, help people from their hometown. In an interview, she said she cherished growing up in Cleveland and rooting for LeBron James and the Kelseys. She also got to know Blake Bolden, who is also from Euclid. Bolden is now a scout for the NHL's Los Angeles Kings and was the first Black player to compete in the National Women's Hockey League. So that's a cool little connection right there, too, between Cleveland and being, the first Black female players in certain levels of hockey. She said, Cleveland's my home and it means Edwards said Cleveland is my home and it means everything to me. Dubbed by her teammates, her U.S. teammates, as the Queen of Cleveland following a U.S.-Canada game that they played in November. So yeah, she is incredibly impressive. She's also 6 feet tall.
It's crazy.
That was something. She's a defense woman at 6 feet tall, barreling down the ice at you.
Probably like the equivalent of like Myles Garrett charging at you.
Yeah. Literally, she's described as Edwards' unique talent on the ice comes from a mixture of her strong style of play and her incredible technical skills. At 6 foot, Edwards is skilled at creating space and protecting the puck, while her speed and agility on the ice make her a difficult player in transition. I bet. She has a strong hockey IQ that allows her to see the entire ice and transition between forward and defense. So yeah, she's an incredibly impressive player. And also in some of the interviews, she is also very well aware of who she is and what she's representing, and that she is, in fact, I know, some people don't like being forced into that kind of mentor role or the kind of person who other people look up to. And she realizes that just by, being the first Black female to ever play for US ice hockey, that she is in that role whether she wants to be or not. So she is trying to be the best role model she can. And she's had parents come to her and kids come to her and say, I didn't know that this was a choice. I didn't know that this was something that I could do, but then I saw you doing this, and I know I can. So it's cool to see her, recognize that at such a young age and embrace it, and be excited about this moment. So, like I said, it was this Thursday. It looks like should be their first game. So everyone show up and show out. 4:40 on Peacock or the USA Network. Check her out. Support our ladies.
It'll be so exciting to watch that for
Go
sure.
USA.
How many goals did you say she had? Like you called out?
35 in a year.
Okay, to put
35
into
goals
reference,
during her junior season.
okay, D1 women's hockey plays about 36 games according to Google. To put into perspective, the NHL right now is about 50-ish games through their season, coming up to the Olympic break. The goal leaders for the NHL, Nathan MacKinnon has 40 and Connor McDavid has 34. Those
Jesus
are two
Christ.
very big names.
Very
And
big names.
two very good players, like generational players. And so she, in about 20 less games, had a comparable amount of goals. That is very, very impressive.
I am going to put it out there and say that Layla is going to be comparable to Alona Mar. She is
Oh,
going to be the
please, I
Winners
hope. Oh, yeah,
Olympics.
hell yeah.
The Winter Olympics version of Alona Mar. Maybe not in personality, but in impact.
Yes, yes, I could see that.
The more Alona Mars in the world, the better.
Exactly. All right.
I'll follow up. I'll go next.
Great.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Charlotte North, who is a professional women's lacrosse player. For those who don't know, I did play lacrosse for 9 years, so this is something that I could literally talk about for hours. But she's born and raised Dallas, Texas is where she was born, 26 years old. Played in high school there, and I think she scored, let's see, her career goals in high school, 372 on her varsity lacrosse team, and I believe it's still the scoring record at that high school. And that was 2017, I believe, that she graduated from high school. Started her college career at Duke in 2017, where in her sophomore season, she set the record for the most points in a season, 105. I don't believe that still stands, but she was the the fastest player to reach 100 goals in program history. So already setting a good name for herself at Duke. 2019, 2 years later, she transferred to Boston College. And this is kind of where she started to make her impact in the lacrosse world. She's one of those players, if you know lacrosse, you know Charlotte North. Like she is just one of those names, those faces that you just kind of attribute with the sport. So in 2021, which was her second year there, she was second in the country in points and third in draw controls or face-off wins. She held the Division I women's lacrosse record for most career goals until the record was broken in 2024, but that record was 358, so a little less than in high school. It's a lot easier to score in high school when you're, young and learning, but still just, making her name known. She is also a two-time Tewaaraton Award winner, which, if you don't know what that is, it's the lacrosse equivalent of the Heisman. It is awarded to the most outstanding college lacrosse women's and men's players. So she's two-time winner, and that was in 2021 and 2022, both with Boston College. Just a little, running over her accolades from her college career. Again, most of these were 21, 22 at Boston College. In 2021, she was the NCAA Division I tournament champion. And in 2022, she was the runner-up. They lost to UNC in 2022. On top of the Tewaaraton Award, she also won the Mary Garber ACC Female Athlete of the Year Award in both years, the IWLCA Player of the Year, Attacker of the Year, and Scholar Athlete of the Year. And she was the NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player in 2021. So a lot of, accolades under her belt, very well known, very great player. She debuted with Team USA in 2022. So that's kind of where she got her jump start into the more professional line of lacrosse. They did end up winning gold that year. So that was a really exciting year to start watching that. And then in the 2022 Athletes Unlimited draft, which is how lacrosse professionally kind of started for women, she was the first overall pick. Obviously, her reputation precedes her. Everybody knew who she was by this point. Everybody wanted her. So first overall pick was going to be her. She played in that league for about 3 years, and in all 3 years, she led the league in goals and points. So she's just always on the score sheet, always, getting her name out there. In 2025, that's when the WLL started, which is the Women's Lacrosse League. The Premier Lacrosse League is the men's side. They started in 2019, and they, with their success, were able to fund a women's side. So as of right now, there's only 4 teams. There's the Boston Guard, the New York Charging, the Maryland Charm, and the California Palms. They kind of match up city-wise with where the men's teams are. So we are expecting an expansion, hopefully in the next couple years. Hopefully this gets a little bit more popular and we have a little bit more teams. But she is with the Boston Guard. She captains that team. She leads that team. And they actually won the inaugural championship last year. So just a really good career for her so far. Just one of those great players, great personalities that you want in the sport. If there's a person you want to be the face of the sport that you love, it's somebody like her. Other than that, what she's doing outside of playing, she's actually an ESPN lacrosse analyst. So she's on with the PLL guys. She's out there just shooting with them, and the All-Star game she's a big part of. But I know she has some broadcasts of the college games too. So she's kind of both sides of the game, which helps to understand the sport a little bit better. She also has her own organization. It's CNL, which is just Charlotte North Lacrosse. Keeps it simple. But she coaches and grows the game through, online sessions or in-person training sessions, just constantly making the game better. And that's huge for lacrosse as a whole, but especially the women's side, I feel like is not as known as my bias aside, I think it should be. So it's just really nice seeing the game grow through a player as, phenomenal and with such a career as she has. So big influence, super excited to see where the professional league goes from here.
Quick question.
Yes.
In the professional league, do the women wear helmets?
They don't. I don't know if it's even, I know in college they've started saying if you want to wear it, you can. I know when I played in college, that was an option. I don't know if they're ever going to enforce it, but we will see. I think they should be required, but
so do I. That was always the thing that bothered me in college was the women weren't for ours. When I was in college, they weren't allowed to wear helmets. They even have the option.
That's how it started. Yep. I know it was my senior year of college in, gosh, this is aging me, 2018.
Oh, please.
Girl.
A lot of my friends are younger than me. A lot of my friends
That was my senior year of college too, don't worry.
What year did you say? 2018? That's when my second child was born.
Okay, fair. To be fair, a lot of my friends are younger, so I am
You are the old lady.
Yes, I am the old lady.
That's fair.
But I do remember that my senior year, they were doing some kind of test to say if we get this amount of head injuries and concussions, we will enforce helmets. And I was like, that's a crazy test.
That's a crazy test.
Pretty insane.
That's unethical and honestly.
That was it really drove me nuts that they were, women lacrosse players are playing just as hard and just as scrappy and I don't know the terminology, chucking the ball as hard as men, and they don't have to wear helmets.
And they don't have to wear helmets. I almost did. I was a 4 concussion athlete.
good Lord,
I got
girl.
hit. That's why it was just enforce these already.
Something you'll have in common with Austin Hedges.
Aw, poor mashed potato brain babies. So it's funny that you say that because I was just looking up on her Wikipedia, and there's a portion down here by the WLL saying that she captained Team North during the All-Star weekend, and that they also did a women's fastest shot competition, and she won, setting a new record for fastest women's lacrosse shot. And Ash, I'm going to take you out of this, but I want Nicole and Sarah to guess how fast that shot was.
Dude, I don't even know a ballpark.
Then I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you also how fast the fastest men's one is after she.
I'm going to use some hockey as my input and say it's going to be something ridiculous 87 miles per hour.
Oh God, I have nothing to go off of because I don't watch hockey either.
Just the leverage.
Okay, I'll say let's do 75.
95 miles per hour.
Oh my God.
So that whole helmet conversation, absolutely valid.
And that's why the men do wear helmets because their fastest recorded at the professional level is 123.
That's insane.
That's stupid.
You can get that thing flying. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
You can literally get murdered.
Like literally. Is it like about the size of a baseball?
It's about the size,
It's
maybe
comparable.
a tad smaller, but it's a lot
Yeah.
denser. It's heavier.
Yeah. I was
Like,
gonna say it's
I
like
know a lot of physical rehab use them as like muscle massagers because of how
it's like
dense
a
they are.
dense rubber feeling,
It
right?
Yeah,
is.
they're almost
Yes.
like a field hockey puck. Like
Yes,
that
yes, they're very similar. Very similar. Because a lot of people who play field hockey also play lacrosse. They go literally hand in hand.
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. And that's insane.
But yeah, as far
But
as the women's lacrosse league, they do both professional leagues play over the summer. So I will definitely be sharing things on that as that comes around. If anybody is interested.
please do.
Awesome.
I'm ready to go
Go.
because spoiler, I have two, so I don't want to go back to back. All right. So my first one, someone I look up to since she was hired by the Cleveland Guardians organization, is Amanda Kamakona. She is from Chino Hills, California. She is also was like born in like 86 or 87. Could have fooled me. She looks like
Jesus,
27.
she's my age? Good Lord.
Yeah. Looks not like that.
No,
old,
I would have
like that
absolutely
old,
put her
but-
at like 28.
right? But found out some really fun things because there's always trolls saying like she's not a good hitting coach because she played softball. What does she know? Blah blah blah. Looking up like some of her college stats and her accolades, oh my goodness, is she deserving? So not only has she played softball, she played baseball from like first or second grade until she was 16.
Oh,
And
wow.
there was a real funny anecdote that when she brought, because her mom is a big baseball fan, so when she brought the flyer home and was like sign up for baseball, her mom was like, guess we gotta teach you how to catch and field. And so they spent the whole weekend learning how to play catch, learning how to catch, learning how to field the ball, get to the tryouts and realize they never taught her how to hit. And apparently they was a pitching machine and she got in after a couple of the guys went and she got into the box and apparently was instantly hitting. So she's just a natural hitter.
That's
Always has been.
crazy.
Love that. I have so much respect for women who do it in the men's field, like
Mhm.
playing with the boys. It's just
Yup. And she played baseball until she was 16 and only played fast pitch softball for 14 months before she graduated high school. And went on to play at Cal State Fullerton in 2005. In the '05 season, she started 49 games of 50 games played. And she had a 284 batting average with 18 runs and 11 RBI. In '06 with Cal State Fullerton, she made the All Big West Conference first team. And in the summer of '07, she led the ASA team, the South California Sliders, to second place. And she had a batting average of 370 with 27 runs, 30 RBI, and 5 home runs, which is absurd. It was a summer league. Like that's not 60 game league there. That is okay. I'm gonna keep going. So after Cal State, she ended up transferring to UCLA in '08, and she in the '08 season, made the first team for All Pac-10, second team for All Pacific Region, third team All American. She led the Bruins in home runs with 14, RBI with 46, runs with 47, doubles with 17, and a slugging percentage of .663. She was first in total bases and sack hits, tied for first in stolen bases and triples, and third in hitting.
so
Amazing.
she's a dog,
Yes.
basically.
And then summer of '08, the SoCal Hurricanes won the ASA Women's National Championship, which she was on that team. After college, she went on to the National Pro Fast Pitch League. In 2012, her rookie season with the Carolina Diamonds, she had a 271 average, a 314 on base percentage with 4 home runs and 13 RBIs. She played in the NPF for 5 seasons and played pro until 2019 is about where I found it. But after she quit playing pro, she founded and coached a junior Olympic level team in 2020 and was a high school head coach from 2019 to 2022. In February of 2023, the Guardians organization hired her as a developmental hitting coach at the Arizona Academy, and she was the first woman hired by Cleveland in an on-field role. And come to find out, one of her college teammates, I believe, is in the Cubs organization in a similar role, saw the posting for Cleveland and called her and told her to, if like, hey, did you ever consider applying? And she never considered it, but was kind of at like a transition period in her life and was like, okay, I guess I could try this. And the Guardians organization made it very clear like she was hired because of her skill and knowledge. And they pointed out that they wanted someone to help with to solve the rise ball in the top of the zone. And she had solved that as a player because in softball that's like the big area like you have to be good at if you want to be a good hitter in softball. So she had solved that as a player, and so they wanted her, and she already had the coaching experience, so they wanted her to come in to help the baseball side of it. And she pointed out that in an interview that they're seeing a lot more crossover where with softball and baseball where pitchers are attacking is kind of changing to adapt, and they're taking from one to, get better in the other. So it's just kind of natural that we're seeing a lot of softball players starting to move into professional baseball as coaches and now players. Sorry. But yeah, so she was hired in 2023 for the Arizona Academy. In 2024, she was promoted to Double A as the assistant hitting coach, and then 2025 for the Rubber Ducks, and then 2025 for the Hillcats, she was acted as their assistant hitting coach, and the Hillcats actually won the championship this year, so they're obviously doing something right. She had a fun comment where she's like, she said like she coached under 10. So she says she carries it over. Like, how would I explain this to a 10-year-old? It starts from there. Like that's how like her coaching style is. Like she starts like, okay, let's explain this to a 10-year-old and then we'll move on from there. But yeah, she is, the more I dug into like how good I'm like, I understand it. Like I already trusted the Cleveland front office to hire the best when it comes to development. And yeah, she was balling. But I picked her specifically because for those who don't know, I am Hawaiian and she is also Hawaiian. And there is not a lot of Hawaiian representation in baseball, much less Hawaiian women. So when she got hired, like I think I did cry because I was like, oh my goodness, that's me. Like, granted,
Just being
I'm
able
not.
to see yourself in something that you
Yeah,
love.
literally growing up, the only Hawaiians I had for representation were The Rock, who's Samoan, he's not even Hawaiian, and Keanu Reeves. Like that's it. That's what we had. And so to see like more and more Hawaiians, like, there's a Hawaiian in the NHL, Isaiah Kiner Falefa, Kai Correa, like there's seeing more and more Hawaiians pop up in like non-rugby, non-football is pretty exciting. And I was really excited when she was hired, and she's doing great. And I hope she stays with the team for a while because I definitely think there's a difference between the teams she's on because, in 24, the Rubber Ducks were pretty good at hitting, and, and obviously the Hillcats won their championship last year. So,
What tickles me the most about her is she is 5'2".
yeah. She's
I love a
5'2"
short
and a
queen.
dog parent.
She's
I'm
just
only an
this
inch taller than her. I love a short queen.
she's just this itty bitty little powerhouse of a girl.
And she's bossing all these men around.
Hell
You
yeah,
love to
as she
see it.
should. Also, I like Googling while you guys are
That's
talking
what I've
to
been
see
doing.
exactly. I'm like, what else? But it looks like also she played with Evan Longoria when she was a kid. Like that was one of her youth baseball teammates in California.
I missed that one. And Derek Jeter apparently is like her favorite shortstop, which
But yeah, it said
respectful.
that her youth baseball teammates included not just Evan Longoria, Mark Trumbo and Delman Young. I'll admit those names do not ring bells for me, but Evan Longoria definitely obviously did. Looks like Mark played for the Angels, the Orioles, and the Diamondbacks for a bit. And Delman also played for the Orioles. Look at that. But yeah, considering she's been bouncing around to various places in our organization, it sounds like they put her where she's needed, it looks like, where they feel like they need that hitting development the most.
Yep.
So,
I was
I,
just about to say we need hitting development, so thank God for
yes.
her.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
we'll see, especially as the Ducks that she coached comes up. It'll be interesting to see what that group of guys do.
yeah, that'd be like Cooper, Travis, and then when they make their way up. Tommy Hawk was a big one from Lynchburg, but he got promoted to the captains. So he's another one to keep an eye out for.
Awesome. All right, Sarah.
All right. Well, if anyone knows me, obviously they know that I'm a huge basketball fan. And so that's kind of like the angle that I wanted to take with this. And one of the first people that kind of stood out to me was Becky Hammon. Becky is currently the coach of the Las Vegas Aces WNBA team. And she was also the first full-time female assistant coach in the NBA for the San Antonio Spurs. And she was actually named as a finalist for the Portland Trail Blazers head coach position in 2021. That was kind of the first instance that I kind of first discovered her and who she was. I thought, wow, like you're telling me like a woman is being considered as a finalist for an NBA head coaching job. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And so that's kind of why like I've been following her a little bit since then, and it's crazy how successful she is. That's also the reason why like I wanted to do her, is because not only is she breaking all these barriers, but she has just been wildly successful in like every aspect of the game, both as a player and as a coach too. I really hope that one day she can become the first female head coach of an NBA team. And like I said, I thought it was really cool to see a woman in that position, despite it being a very male dominated league, like most sports. So yeah, so Becky is actually from South Dakota. She learned to play basketball with her older brother and her dad. She continued to play in high school where she averaged 26 points per game and was named South Dakota Miss Basketball as a junior and South Dakota Player of the Year as a senior. She was recruited by Colorado State, where she broke multiple school records for them, including all-time points, assists, points per game, field goals made, free throws made, and three-pointers made. She shattered all of those records. She led them to a 33 and 3 record, advancing to the Sweet 16 in the 1998-99 season. So after her super successful college career, she actually went undrafted for her rookie season in the WNBA, but she signed with the New York Liberty in 1999 as a backup point guard, then taking over that starting point guard spot in 2003. In 2007, she was traded to the San Antonio Silver Stars, where she put up career points per game and led the league in assists. And then the next year, she led the team to a league best 24 and 10 record and made it to the WNBA Finals, where they unfortunately lost. But in 2013, after suffering an injury, she spent her year-long rehab attending the San Antonio Spurs practices, coaches' meetings, and games where she was invited to actually share her opinions with the coaching staff. She did retire from the WNBA in 2014. And in her career, she was a six-time All-Star and a four-time All-WNBA team. And so yeah, the same year that she retired, she was actually hired by Greg Popovich, who, for you that don't know, he is one of the most legendary NBA coaches of all time. He coached the San Antonio Spurs for years and years and years. He is literally one of the most revered NBA coaches in history. And she developed a great relationship with him, and he actually released a media statement at the time of her hiring. He said, quote, "I very much look forward to the addition of Becky Hammon to our staff. Having observed her working with our team this past season, I'm confident her basketball IQ, work ethic, and interpersonal skills will be a great benefit to the Spurs." And not only him, but Pau Gasol, who is also one of the legendary Hall of Famer NBA players, he said, quote, "I've played with some of the best players of this generation, and I've played under two of the sharpest minds in the history of sports in Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich. And I'm telling you, Becky Hammon can coach. I'm not saying she can coach pretty well. I'm not saying she can coach enough to get by. I'm not saying she can coach almost at the level of the NBA's coaches. I'm saying Becky Hammon can coach NBA basketball, period. And in 2015, she was actually named the head coach of the Spurs Summer League team, the first woman in that position, and she ultimately led them to the Summer League title. And so, yeah, she has a very deep history with the Spurs organization, and like I said, working with people like Greg Popovich and Pau Gasol and and the players underneath them, they're some of just the greatest minds in basketball. And they just had such glowing things to say about her, which I thought was really, really cool, especially coming from them. So let's see her. Okay, so when she was hired by the Las Vegas Aces, she was hired in 2021 after failing to get the Trailblazers head coaching job. But in her first year, she led the Aces to a 26-10 record and won the WNBA championship, who was also the first rookie coach to win the championship. Second year, they repeated as back-to-back champions with a 34-6 record. Her third year coaching, she made it all the way to the semifinals but lost. And then her fourth year coaching, which was last year, they won the title again in 2025. So in 3 out of her 4 years as the WNBA head coach, she has led the team to the championships. And like I said, when she was the coach of the Summer League team, she led them to the championship too. So literally success follows her everywhere she goes. So like she knows not only just the NBA, but the WNBA. And obviously, there's a lot of differences between the two sports. For example, the WNBA is played at a slower pace. There's less iso ball, focused more on the mid-range post game rather than being three-point heavy like the NBA. And what I think is so cool is that she just has such a deep understanding of both leagues. And I think that could be such a huge asset in an NBA head coach because you can take aspects from both of those leagues and it could just be revolutionary from a coaching standpoint. So that's why I really hope that one day she gets that opportunity because there's not a doubt in my mind that she can be a super, super, super successful basketball coach because her numbers speak for themselves, her records, her accolades. And so, yeah, I'm really curious to see just how she does throughout the rest of her coaching tenure as the Aces coach. Like I said too, it's just really cool to see not just a female coach, but a successful female coach. And just having the praise of Greg Popovich and Pau Gasol is just, I thought it was really, really cool. And I will also, so I have kind of another point about this too. While I was doing research, I actually came across this really interesting study. It was a thesis written by a Clemson student, and it was all about when Becky got hired as the NBA's first female assistant coach. This thesis literally looked at tweets compiled from NBA Twitter. And so I guess what they did was they compiled like 5,000 tweets. They sorted them into these categories that were pretty much like positive, negative, neutral, and like a couple others. But it was super interesting to read because it gives you like a good idea of just the conversation surrounding women kind of entering not only men's sports, but like leadership position in those sports. And, it kind of went the way we think it would because I think most of us are active on Twitter and in the sports world. And so there's a lot of it that didn't surprise me, but it was just interesting to see an actual like study done. But then like the main point was basically that one of the biggest reasons why women are underrepresented in coaching is that these leadership positions within sports are closely tied to masculine traits, creating the perception that women aren't viable candidates for coaching positions because they naturalize kind of the role of men in all realms of the sport, which also kind of explains why there's so much pushback from people when female coaches get hired. It was interesting to see that kind of all laid out. And yeah, I just thought that was a super, super interesting study to read. I'll happily send you guys the links if you were interested. But yeah, it is someone who obviously is very in tune with Twitter and the conversations around sports, especially, women in sports too. It was a very interesting read. But luckily most of the feedback was very positive when she got hired, which was very encouraging. And this was a decade ago. This was done in 2016. So I would be curious to see kind of how that's changed in the last 10 years, if we expect to see kind of the same patterns or if things changed, which
It'd
I
be
don't
so
know,
much
but
worse.
I know it's like I wanna give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but like, yeah, and it probably did get worse, but
I was watching a video on Jin Powell, the first woman MLB umpire, in her first appearance behind the plate, and like how everyone was like, "Oh, she did awful," and she didn't do any worse than your average umpire.
Mhm.
But anything men can do, women have to do twice as good just to get the same amount of
Mhm.
respect.
Yep.
right,
Mhm.
exactly. But yeah, I thought she was just a really good person for this because like I said, as a basketball fan, it's really cool to see just a woman in that leadership position and someone to be as successful as she's been at it. So I really hope that one day she can get a real shot in the NBA because I would love to see what
Absolutely.
she can do. So who knows? Maybe.
And with the like they were saying, the softball like meta, the most effective tactical advantage, like when the softball meta is starting to bleed into baseball in some aspects, you gotta expect that to happen because timing's everything in basketball. And if you have a team that comes out there and plays with a slower pace, if they can keep up with the defense, it's like that slower pace offense could just disrupt everybody's game plan. Like, yeah, I could totally see how her knowledge could lend itself to some very creative strategy for a men's team.
Exactly. Like if you ask me, like she's probably overqualified to be an NBA coach.
Oh, 110% at this
what
point.
the official qualifications are, but like I said, just having that understanding of both types of games of WNBA and the NBA. It's obviously the same sport in essence, but there's a lot of substantial differences that I think if she's able to just like combine them both, maybe that's why she's seeing so much success currently as a WNBA coach, is she's probably adopting a lot of the NBA strategy she took into that. And so if she can do the same thing, vice versa, then you have probably the most well-rounded coach you could probably ever imagine.
Hey, if JB can do it, she can do
Honestly.
it. But all right,
Before we shut down for the night, we had
I I have
do you
one
want
more
to go ahead?
person.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to give a quick shout out because
That's exactly what I was going to say in all honesty. So go
okay,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
But yeah, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a wife of a Guardians player because this woman is way more than wife of a Guardians player, and I'm in awe of anyone who could be a partner with a professional athlete, like a spouse, or significant other, and then let alone like raise a family with a professional athlete. But when you do it and have like a pretty busy career of your own, I'm in awe of the ability to balance and not seeing your spouse every day. That would be the hardest thing in the world. So I wanted to give a shout out to Allie Hancock Schneemann, the wife of Daniel Schneemann. Allie played first base softball for BYU from 2016 to 2019. Her senior year, she was the number one at BYU in career fielding percentage. So if the Schneemann girls grow up to play softball or baseball, they're going to be defensive demons. She then was a volunteer assistant coach at BYU from 2020 to 2021, was the assistant coach at Utah Valley from 21 to 22, moved over as a director of ops for BYU softball in 2023, and she's been an assistant coach for BYU softball since June of 2023. So yeah, that's a very busy career already to have,
And now with two babies.
and now two babies and your spouse is away for most of the year. So that's incredible and takes a very strong type of woman to be able to balance all of that. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure give her a little shout out.
So just
We
another
love the
reason.
Schneemanns on this
Exactly.
No,
podcast.
this is a big Schneemann fan group here in all aspects, all the Schneemanns.
But for real, that is so cool though, especially having two kids, like we just said, and doing all of that. Like I could not
Dude, it's
imagine having all of that on my plate. So just all the respect in the world to her for being able to just juggle all of that.
I don't know how she does it. Especially like a toddler and a
Yeah, they're
newborn
young.
now.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I don't remember those first 5 years between my children.
I'm just
Like
convinced that some people are actually superhuman, and she's one of them.
literally. Literally. I
I mean,
don't
her
know.
husband is Captain America, so
Just true.
they're both superhuman. The super Schneemanns.
Super Schneemanns.
Well, I think that will wrap it up. We went a little long today, but I think it was worth it. Some interesting stuff that we learned, celebrate some women in sports, celebrate some Guardians adjacent women. So, like we said, don't forget to watch the Olympics. Don't forget to watch the WPBL. Support BYU softball. Support Becky Hammon and the oh,
The WNBA.
obviously the WNBA. I was looking for
Well,
the
the
name of the
The
Aces.
team.
Aces.
The Aces. There we go. My mind is already blanking. And the Women's Lacrosse League and all the other women's sports that are starting to flourish, really. I think the ladies are finding their time. WNBA, especially over the past couple of years, is really starting to come around. The Cleveland's going to be getting our WNBA team here soon,
Yay.
supported by Dan Gilbert. Go Dan Gilbert.
I'm
Still our
hoping they
favorite
reveal the
billionaire.
team name soon. They said they'll be
Hopefully,
revealing the
yeah.
team identity in early 2026. So I'm very, very, very excited for that.
That's about now, early 2026.
And we got a
There's
women's
also a
soccer
push
team.
for yes, I was going to say the women's pro soccer. There's a push coming out of Cleveland specifically for that. So keep an eye out for that also. So thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. Thank you, Nicole Sarah Nash, for joining me and talking about some wonderful women.
Oh, shout out to the W Sports Bar. We should
Yes,
probably shout them out in this episode.
absolutely. We should. We really should. The W Sports Bar in Cleveland, a place where you can go and watch women's sports and other sports, I'm sure, but on Detroit Avenue. Check it out. 100% women founded. Support women. So don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcasting apps, all of our social channels. As we said, we will have some behind the scenes content, hopefully, from Sarah coming up here during spring training. And also so you don't just miss an episode or an announcement. And as always, whether you are here for the hot takes, the heartbreaks, or the home runs, don't get caught looking. Go Guards!
Go Guards.
Go Guards.